Welcome back to the Metamystic Show, ASTRO. Remember, you can always listen to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We're going to get 3 cards here. I am using the Black Tarot today. Happy new moon in Cancer, throat chakra. That may be a chakra to work on over the next 6 months. These readings go from, when we're reading for a new moon like today, this new moon in Cancer is on the 5th of July, 2024. It's going to go all the way to that full moon in Cancer. So this energy is for the next 6 months of our lives. And before I open these cards, I want to say a couple things. Number 1, I was the opposite aesthetic that I am right now. I had bright, hot pink summer nails. And I looked down at my nails and I was like, I was taken aback by them. It was this feeling of like, this is not right. Like, this is not the right vibe. I'm not in the right vibe to record this reading. So I did my nails black. As I was looking down at my black nails, I was like, Spirit, what does this mean? Are we just going into like some sort of an emo period? And as the energy started to kind of open up more, I started to see it very differently. I started to see it actually the opposite of that. In the same way that I went from those hot pink nails to the black nails. And what I mean by that is we're going to be taking off layers over the next 6 months with this Cancer new moon. Cancer is all about, Cancer is the 4th house. Cancer is family. Cancer is like the roots of who we are, right? So when we think about how we grew up, when we think, like take for example, with me, I grew up in a Christian home. Both of my parents were ministers. I was not allowed, literally, I was not allowed to like wear black nails or anything like that. So for me, this could just be a metaphor for me as a reader to demonstrate for you, not just but this is a part of the message, is that for me, embracing who I really am was through this shadow work, which we're going to talk more about today. I believe this message has to do with shadow work and the shadow work that we're going to be doing over the next 6 months, which has to do with taking off the mask, whatever that is for you. But for me, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to be who I was. I wasn't allowed to be sad. I always had to be in the joy of the Lord. I always had to be smiling, or I would actually get in trouble, right? I wasn't allowed to be, trigger warning, suicidal. When I had an eating disorder and I was self-harming myself at 14, instead of, and this is not to bash my parents, I don't even want to talk about that today. This is just an example for you to think about in your own life. It was looked at that I was just being a bad girl, that I wanted attention. And then in the religious aspect of it, it was like, you are being actually demonic, Missy. And because I used to write these dark poems, I wanted to wear dark clothes from Hot Topic. I wanted to paint my nails black because I was depressed. I was struggling with self-harm. I had an eating disorder. I was bullied so bad that I didn't want to live anymore. But my parents looked at it like it was a nuisance in a sense. Like they just didn't want to deal with it. They just wanted to have a happy-go-lucky kid. Like throughout my life, my mom always called me M Sweet. Called me M Sweet because I was always sweet. Right? And I'm not saying that I don't have a kind heart and that I don't love people and that There's not a sweetness to that. You know, that's why I called my band Honeybee, because my name Melissa means honeybee in Greek. I'm sharing all this, guys, to just help you get the wheels turning in your own shadow work. I'm not just ranting about myself. I'm saying all this because as I started to get into this energy and I did the black nails and I was doing my makeup normal. You know, normal for me. I don't normally do like the dark eye and stuff like that. But I started to do it and it was like a Pollock moment. I felt like I started just throwing paint on the canvas. It was like I just took the black and I just went like big with it. Maximalist. That's a word for today. Maximalism. There's something in that where spirit wants us to take off the mask, to strip down to nothing and blast out into the world who we actually are. The truth of who we are, down at the root, without all of this other bullshit that we've had to put on as these layers in society, these roles that we've had to play, these things that we've become, that if we actually take a second and think about it and go into that shadow work, it's not who we are. It's not who we are. And we're being called out for that. Now I have another weird phenomenon, and it's gone now, which is wild. And I have a quick picture of it as well. When I painted my nails, there was this weird effect on my thumb where it looked like a heart, and now it's gone, and it was there all morning. And now it's gone. It was in the shape of a heart. And I believe what spirit is trying to do with us in this shadow work. That's why I'm doing this whole black aesthetic with the black deck and everything like that. Spirit wants us to reveal ourselves. You hear that thunder? Once and for all. That reminds me of the tower, what we're hearing right now. Yep. It might cause a tower for other people. It might cause a tower for you. Precisely. That's what this is. And the irony of this whole thing is it's the real us, right? And so let's see what the cards show. Happy Cancer, new moon, 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. This is our expansion. This is our growth. I'm seeing a potted plant that has root rot. Remember, I was talking a lot about how Cancer is like the roots, the 4th house. Cancer is like who we are in the core of us, like our memories from being children, going through the photo books, right? Looking back on memories from when we were like 6 years old, first day of school vibes, you know. What I'm seeing with this 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which I consider, you know, kind of the overall energy, what brought us here, what we need to look at overall is this 3 of Wands, which I'm seeing as a potted plant that has become too large for the pot that it's currently in. This is like a big fish in a small pond. And let me just be completely honest with you on this. It is much more satisfying and safe for the ego to be a big fish in a small pond than it is to be a small fish in a big ocean. Because when we are, and again, this is all just a mirror back to myself as well. Everything that I say, I live by. I don't just talk out of my ass. I don't just tell people they should do heroic things and then I do nothing. This is something that I believe and that I'm living out as I'm speaking, just for the record. With this 3 of Wands, this is This is burning my ego as I'm speaking, because it is much easier to feel like you are the best of your group. And maybe this started off as a defense mechanism when we were younger, and we're going to open these cards. Let me just open the message to the fullness that I'm feeling. It's not done yet. There's still more with the Three of Wands. Yeah, see, Nine of Swords. It's like claustrophobia. That's the feeling. It's like that root rot. You're cramped in a tiny pot. And at first it felt kind of, wow, this is actually kind of warm, kind of nice. The walls are really close to my arms. I kind of feel like I'm in a sleeping bag. But then when you start to feel those walls crushing your bones, yeah, it's going to turn into a Nine of Swords. It might have started off as, see, with the star and the sun at the bottom of the deck. The star and the sun together it can be a level of fame, right? And then take that as it resonates. You could just be the one in the family that everybody looks to for the answers. You're like the boss. You're like the one that everyone leans on. You're kind of the hero. My hero. Maybe you play the hero in relationships. And I'm not saying this as an asshole. I'm saying this as a friend. I'm saying this as I'm you, if you're relating to this, right? And we all have aspects of this. And look, with the Chariot at the bottom of the deck, with the star and the sun, the Chariot is a Cancer energy. See, Spirit is trying to show you that what started off as actually a defense mechanism is going to end up being your greatest strength. The fact that you felt more comfortable, or you have up until this point, you felt more comfortable being a big fish in a small pond. Well, part of that is because, there's lots of reasons, but let me just use this as an example. It could be that you felt very other since you were a child. Maybe you were kind of ahead of people intellectually. Maybe you had like extreme creative ability and things were kind of easy for you, or you just kind of had the answers. Maybe you're somebody that people open up to, so people started coming to you, and then your advice worked, and you're kind of this like godlike figure to people. And that's because you're an earth angel. That's because you're a star seed, right? But this is the funny thing. It can turn in on itself, and that's the nuance of this message, and that's what Spirit's trying to kick your ass with and kick my ass with. Is that the irony is we need to take off that mask and reveal all of our flaws and reveal, hey, this is the example. And then I'm going to open the cards. It's like, would you rather be the top student in the regular English class, or would you rather be an average student that has room to become the highest student in an advanced class? That's what Spirit's challenge is to you. Do you want to just always feel like you're the best in this class? You're the top of the class. And you kind of stagnate in that role. It's like that root rot where you're kind of just like, well, I kind of feel like the walls are crunching in on my bones, but I guess I'm just going to get used to this and just kind of stay here and just kind of, it's kind of like Four of Pentacles. I'm just going to kind of, I kind of peaked here, and this is the best I'm going to get. And, it's better than most people. And, just going to kind of chill here. Just going to kind of stagnate. Right? And you know what? That's perfectly all right. And no judgment here. But this is what's being offered, is an advancement to go to that advanced class. Right? The AP class. Spirit's inviting you. You have to be invited. This is an initiation. It's a portal that's opening up for you with this new moon in Cancer, for all of us. It's like the family, the celestial family, Cancer being family, is saying, come if you'd like to, Three of Wands with us, we have an opportunity for you. So let's see what the cards show. Card number 1 is the Two of Wands. See, this is where we're at right now. It's that stationary. I was thinking Four of Pentacles, but maybe it really is more Two of Wands, because Wands is action. Wands are those roots that are growing. And with the Three of Wands, obviously, that's the next step. That's the next stage, right? I don't know if you can see these cards, but there's a profundity. There's a profound nature in the imagery of these cards. I'm joking, but I am seeing a professor, and I'm seeing like a high level college class. And I'm seeing you like awkwardly walking into the class with people that are above you, and you're not used to that. I'm not used to that. We're used to kind of being like the smartest in the room, but we don't tell anybody that. We're not cocky assholes. We're kind of just like, we know we're star seeds, right? It's not a cockiness. It's we just got used to being that, and we kind of just kept it to ourselves. Kind of just helped people on the sidelines, just kind of kept more of like that humble persona where in a way it's like wearing a mask. But what I was going to say about these cards is on the Two of Wands, here we are. There's a man here. Let me take a second here. This is the checkpoint. This is a check-in. This is an invitation and a portal. So this is what I'm seeing here from the Two to the Three of Wands, the opportunity that we have, the opportunity of a lifetime is what I'm hearing. In the Two of Wands, you see this figure here? That's us. That's big fish in a small pond. But then on the Three of Wands, which is the next stage, suddenly the figure is absent. That's because the figure is no longer the focal point, and you're going to feel that. This has happened to me multiple times in life. That's why I'm saying it so confidently, because this big fish in a small pond phenomenon, I felt this burn. I felt this ego burn literally 3 years ago, when I went from being a Christian expert. I was able to sit in the room with theologians and converse back and forth. I knew things that people didn't know. All right, let's just keep it short. I went from feeling like I really was a spiritual authority to feeling like I knew absolutely nothing. I actually was ashamed of myself for thinking that I knew something about life. I felt like a fool. I felt like I knew nothing, like I was back at square one all over again when I had my spiritual awakening in 2021 and I deconverted from Christianity when I was a minister for 10 years and grew up a Christian, and both my parents are ministers as we speak. And I lost my entire family and all of my community. Kind of felt a little bit like this Three of Wands, like I'm not even in the picture anymore. Like I'm just this wanderer, this wandering soul. I have a song called Wandering Soul, shameless plug, that I just wrote on one of my past episodes on the Minimistic Show. I forgot what episode it's on, but anyways. It's that energy of a wandering soul. It's like a nomad, like you don't belong anywhere, like you used to feel like you were someone on this Two of Wands, and now you feel like all that can be seen are these sand dunes in the background. It's funny that that's the lyrics of the song, sand dunes. I'm a wandering soul. Because that's that feeling. It's like all you can see, all that's left is this feeling of like everything else is so much bigger than you. Now you're just this tiny little fish in a vast ocean where before you felt like you were someone. And this is not to say that you're not. This is to bring you into a bigger pot, so to speak. And oh, it burns the ego, honey. Let me tell you, it's really hits you where the sun don't shine. Let's put it that way. Card number 2 is the Page of Swords. This is a beginner's mind, the Page of Swords. Learning new things, being a novice in a particular field, swords, the intellect, being the professor in a setting, and now you're the student. But this is how I see life. To be a student is to be a teacher. There is no being a teacher if you don't see life as a student. In my opinion, we can learn from everyone. We can learn from evil. We can learn from narcissistic abuse. We can learn from terrible, heartbreaking experiences and transmute all of that. Will we do that now? Is what I hear Cancer beckoning. I hear Cancer beckoning. Will you? Will you dare to become a student again? Card number 3 is the Page of Wands, another page. And when I said page, I thought about turning the page. Because what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a completed book. I'm seeing your life. Look, I just opened up to the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the teacher of the tarot. It's the teacher. Spirit is saying, it's an ego death, guys. That's this message. It's an ego death, but it's through shadow work, and it's also simultaneously showing you how powerful you actually are. By ripping everything away, so to speak, is what's going to actually show you who you really are and what you're actually made of. That's the Hierophant. That's what are your morals? Who are you really? Right? That's what an ego death is. It's a phoenix rising from the ashes, which is Scorpio, but it's coming through in this Cancer reading. So what I was gonna say is, it's like I'm seeing a book opening up, and I'm seeing a book closing. Let's put the Hierophant back in there. And I'm seeing a full book right here. Like with me, I have 20 solid years. And I really mean that. I started when I was a child, taking my faith very, very seriously, and started studying. Page of Swords when I was a kid. I was an expert within the Christian religion, right? That's my one book. Whatever your one book is, here it is. Now, what I am seeing is absolutely respectable. We can stay there. But what I'm seeing is blank pages off to the side with the Page of Wands. This Page of Wands is emanating with the flames of fire off of its being. Spirit's lighting a fire in you by asking you, will you dare to write another book? Meaning, will you be an adventurer? Because the Page of Wands is all about a new adventure. Will you be brave enough? Will you trust yourself enough to go from the highest in the class to an average student in an AP class, so to speak, in the school of life? Will you go on an adventure from the Two of Wands to the Three of Wands with the Page of Wands, where, see how we were this figure in the Two of Wands here, and now We're nowhere to be found in the Three of Wands, but look at this. Now with the Page of Wands, the figure is on fire, and it is the main character in the frame. That's the opportunity we have here to be even more than we originally were. See how this picture is more zoomed out in the Two of Wands. But in the Page of Wands, this is the meaning of the card. This is you in the main frame. And you have the opportunity with the Star and the Sun to become that main character energy in the story of your own life, of course. But we have to be brave. And there's an element of bravery with the Page of Wands, where we just go with our impulse for more. We go with the flow of the adventure. We go with that flow of life. Instead of just staying in that pot with that root rot and kind of just settling there, we decide to expand beyond that. Not for only ourselves, but for those to come. I love you guys so much. It's been Missy Gordon, the Metamystic here. Happy new moon in Cancer. If you missed our past astro reading on the full moon in Capricorn, go ahead and watch that. These readings apply for much longer than you'd think.